Relaxation versus tension. We've talked about this a little earlier in the technical development lines and everything. But relaxation is on two folds. It's the mental relaxing and the physical relaxing. The hardest thing for an amateur fighter to learn is how to endure, how to stretch himself, how to pace himself in a fight, how to have enough wind and stamina to finish the fight off. This comes from training, definitely, but it also comes from experience. Example, Roger Dabney and Tim Lane were going down to North Carolina and fight. Now, Roger was fighting a professional fight for a U.S. title, and Tim was fighting his first amateur fight. Now, both guys did the same workout with me. Three times a day, we were out there working out, and working out there in the heat. The afternoon one was done in a pavilion in sometimes 100-degree temperature. So they were conditioned physically for this fight, and they did a lot of sparring and everything. But Roger had the mental ability because he has experienced it already. He had learned what it takes to stay relaxed in a fight situation. And that's something you have to learn. But if you don't tell yourself, like I talked a little bit before about being relaxed as a point of view, my point of view was to relax, and I relaxed to a point where I got beat, then you have to learn what relaxation and fighting at the same time feels like. But you have to experience both. And you have to know that they exist so you can try to utilize them. But if you can learn how to be relaxed when you do a technique, you're not going to burn as much energy. You're going to have more endurance, plus it's going to be harder to detect. Again, if I'm tense, my muscles are moving slower, I'm not able to perform the technique technically quick enough. And it's going to be more obvious to my opponent that I'm going to throw a punch at him. So in order to develop relaxation versus tension, you have to plug in some pretty basic things. One, start the fight relaxed. Start your training relaxed. This is relaxed. Then you go out and work the technique and try to maintain that. I found when I started breathing heavy, which is normal, which is a normal thing when you start sparring and start fighting, all of a sudden your breath goes. You end up there and you almost hyperventilate and fall over because you're breathing so hard. Well, I said to myself, when this happens, blow out twice. I used a mechanical mechanism to set my breathing. So every time when I was out there sparring and I realized, or if I was out there working out and I realized I was laboring my breath, I'd blow out twice, breathe in, my breathing was set. I could go on, I was more relaxed. It got to a point where it sounded like a runner, you get a long distance runner, when they're really running and they're in their 10th mile, 15th mile or something, when they're breathing, it's almost like they're singing. It's almost like a whistle coming out of their breath because it's going so deep into their lungs and back out again. So when I'm out there and I'm really moving hard and I do those two little, it sounds like a little note coming out there. And it's really sharp pitched little note. But what it does, it automatically triggers my breathing and makes me go back to being relaxed. So again, in order to develop the relaxation versus tension, you have to realize you're tense, and this is what you need to do to be untense. 1, get your mind set. 2, get your body set. Get them under control. You'll be able better to perform your techniques when you come into it. So that's the basic gist behind relaxation and tension. Now, of course, all these technical principles that I'm touching on here today, I'm just touching on them. I could spend 2 hours on each one of these. I could spend 2 years on each one of these, teaching them. That's why it takes so long to learn them. But one, you can learn them quicker now because you have someone trying to teach them to you. Next one is independent.